All right. Are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. Hi, Reed. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Dad?
I'm fine. Okay.
Good.
Got that out of the way. Welcome to episode 6. When I wrote episode 6, I thought of Return of the Jedi.
That's a good one.
I thought that was a good episode to have on the moon of Endor or anywhere else, and something really like climactic finish, feel good, all of those things.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to be doing episode 6.
Yeah.
So
Everybody likes episode 6.
Yeah, there's some, maybe you could argue like, oh, you didn't think the Ewoks were cute or they were too cute or whatever, or you had some problem. But episode 6, Return of the Jedi, is a feel-good movie.
Yeah, it is.
So this will be our feel-good.
But that's not what we're reviewing today.
No. No. Oh, but I'm really excited about our review today.
Yeah.
Okay. But before we get there, what did you learn this week? It's been a couple weeks. 3 weeks. What's the thing you learned? It has
been 3. I learned the other day how to forward all of my emails to a new email. I
was really excited to see that.
Yeah. Because I kept needing to update my email, but then I didn't know how to do that. And then I figured it out. And now I have a good email.
And it was super easy, right?
Yeah. It's kind of weird because it's like, it doesn't, like the ones from my old email don't transfer, like they don't split up into the little like subcategories of an email. They all go to my priority inbox, which is a little weird, but it's okay. I'm sure there's somewhere I can change that.
Well, yeah. But probably you'll just start getting most of your email in your new email, and the old one is just for old stuff.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, that's a great feature.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Thanks. What did you learn this week?
There were lots of things. Couple weeks. But I think most recently, just this morning, actually, and I knew this in my music class that I'm taking, I learned that I really shouldn't play the root of chords in my left hand because it gets in the way of the bass player. And this is specific to jazz music, that I should play more interesting and more diverse notes across both of my hands.
Yeah.
But I've always liked playing the bass. Oh, so here's what it is. It's because I've been playing by myself without a band for so long. I've gotten into these habits of playing the root of all the chords in my left hand, which is a very particular style. And it's also really good for when you're playing by yourself. But now I'm in that habit of playing like I'm playing by myself, but when I'm playing with other people.
Yeah.
So.
Got to play with the band.
Yeah. Good news is I get to play with other people now, and the bad news is I can't play. I shouldn't be playing the way I used to.
Yeah.
So,
but it's better playing.
I think so. I guess maybe I should remind myself I can learn to do new things.
That's why you're taking the class.
Yeah, to point out the things that are wrong with me.
To learn things.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll remind myself it's about learning things, not just pointing out the things that are wrong with me.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's good. I've been learning a lot, but that was the most recent.
That's good.
So anything else we should talk about in terms of like just what we've learned? Because it has been a few weeks. Or things going on with you?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah. That's how I feel too. Like I just got out of a lab. It's been a really long day. There's probably things we could talk about that are actually interesting, but I just feel kind of wiped out. I did, and this is kind of exciting, but I made a chuck box.
What's that?
It is a box that is what you would put on the back of your wagon train that holds all of your kitchen gear and like all your cooking stuff and your stove and your water bucket and all those things. But,
that'll be perfect for your wagon.
Right. So it's adapted for modern day. So it holds my propane stove and our cook sets and utensils and stuff. And it's a wood box that opens up like it's its own cabinet kind of thing. And I found some ideas. First, I had to figure out what this thing was called so I could find ideas for how to design it. And a kitchen camping box or a chuck box comes in all these different forms. But I designed mine so it opens up both the front and the top, and it makes these extra shelves and places to hang stuff on and reveals your stove on the top and then shelves for all your things. So
fancy.
I built it kind of pretty well. A lot of my cuts with my skill saw are not especially straight, so not everything is perfectly square, but I'm excited to have it. It was kind of a nice geometry problem to have.
Yeah. That's cool.
And I thought it was, I mean, we'll see. I hope it works. It might be 700 pounds. We can't lift it. That would be a problem.
Yeah.
So it's a thing I did.
That's good.
You, any other things you did? Sorry, we're going off script.
Not that I can think of right now, but maybe I can save them up for next week.
Okay.
So,
how's food lately?
It's depends on the day. Sometimes it's really good. Sometimes it's less good. But like this year, everything is self-served. So then I can actually pick what I want instead of just getting a prepackaged box with everything being steamed in the box for hours, or probably not hours, but long enough that it's soggy. But yeah, so that's good. And I can like make a salad now, which is like, shouldn't be exciting, but it's really exciting that I get to make a salad. So yeah. Oh, and there's more often just like yogurt and like fruit around, which is super fun. So that's good.
This is, I'm so glad I asked. Like the contrast from bucket of steamed random vegetables to make your own salad. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
You're living the life.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Okay. So we've got something we've learned in the last couple of weeks and then something that's exciting that we've done or experienced. Mm-hmm. And you've got a fall break coming up. So
yeah, I get a 1-day break.
Yeah, nice. Because that's what everyone needs is 1 day.
Yeah, it makes all the difference.
Hey, by the way, I've kind of mentioned this in the past, but it's official now. I'm revealing this to you on the podcast. Okay. I'm going to be in town in a few weeks.
Oh, fun.
So, if you want to see me, I can come by and we can go out to dinner or something.
That'd be fun.
Okay. More to do.
Yeah.
So maybe we record something, but
a reunion podcast.
Yeah. We'll go visit the RV that we recorded in last time I saw you in person.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump to the review of the week. I'm pretty excited about this one.
Yeah.
You want to announce it? Introduce it?
Sure. This week we are reviewing the movie The Blues Brothers.
Classic.
Classic.
with the up-and-comers John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
In
They're
theaters
going to
now.
make something of themselves one day.
Yeah. Actually, not in theaters now, but
No, hasn't been for a long time.
let's see. So it was 1980, I think, or early 80s. So this movie is 40 years old.
That's cool.
It's time. It's like it was yesterday.
Twice my age.
Twice your age.
Over twice my age.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So now, when we first saw Blues Brothers, I think, well, when I first mentioned Blues Brothers, I don't think you were convinced that it was a movie that you would want to see. Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember exactly when, like why you brought it up originally, or what the context was, but I don't think I remember not being super intrigued with it, because I think you just told me it's some guys who play blues music and they're raising money for a church. And so I think that didn't really sell it on me.
Yeah. That's fair. But then, so what turned you around?
I played it was like 11th grade. Was it? I don't know. Sometime in high school.
Yeah.
I played like a medley of the Blues Brothers music in my concert high school band. So, and that was really fun. And then you said, oh, for homework, you have to watch, or we should watch this movie.
Yeah.
So that I can play the music well.
I don't understand how you could possibly play the music from Blues Brothers if you don't understand the depth of the story behind it. Yeah. So I'm glad that you were playing it in high school in jazz bands so that you had the reason to watch the movie. And I think your jazz teacher probably couldn't say, hey, we have to watch Blues Brothers, because I'm sure it's rated R.
I think it's R.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's right. Suddenly I just like cranked through all the different reasons it would be rated R. Like, oh, that and that and that. But it seemed like, to me, it was a funny way to say, oh, yeah, this has to be homework. You've got to watch this, all these scenes. So for context, for those who haven't watched the movie, it's the heartwarming story of two quote unquote brothers who grew up together in the orphanage, played by Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. And Jake comes back from prison, and they go back to visit the orphanage in which they grew up and realize the orphanage is going under. They can't pay their property taxes. So they're going to go raise money to save the orphanage, and the nun tells them they can't go and steal the money. And they're very disappointed with this revelation. And that leads to a wonderful scene. And then they decide to, quote unquote, get the band back together again. And that they are on, quote, a mission from God.
Yeah.
So what's your overall assessment of the movie? What do you like about it? What would your review of said movie be?
I think the movie, it's a very good movie.
Yeah, it's full stop. It's a very good movie.
I don't know. I like it because it's quirky and like, when you're like you can't really sum up the movie by saying it's about these guys who are getting a blues band back together, because I think that gives you a totally different understanding of what this movie is going to be about. When in reality, there's like, I don't know, like all the Chicago cops are involved in this movie at one point, and then
not just involved, like
an epic chase scene.
Yeah. And you think the first chase scene is epic, and then the later chase scenes are phenomenally, outrageously, ridiculously wonderful and stupid.
Yeah.
So I actually read, speaking of the chase scenes, that the movie is like ridiculously over budget and was like the most expensive comedy movie ever made or something like stupid because of, as I understand it, like, well, all the real actual crashing of all the cop cars, like that was stupid expensive. And then Dan Aykroyd had never written a screenplay before, and it took him months and months, and then they had to like rewrite things because he'd never done it before, so he needed help.
Yeah.
And then John Belushi was like, I think they were all partiers, and they were all doing drugs, and they were all, you know, stayed out late at night and did all the things that were things that famous people of the 80s would do. But John Belushi in particular would stay out all night and do lots of drugs. And that lifestyle led to his demise eventually. But it also meant for the movie, like, there are all these cost overruns. So it was ridiculous in so many ways, for the production and the actual action of the movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that makes me feel bad. Like, is that a bad thing about the movie, or is that just part of the charm of the movie that it was so ridiculous in so many ways?
Yeah. I think that like the quirkiness of it makes it super fun though. And then like all of that extensive like stuff that went into it, like like that makes the movie memorable and fun.
Yeah, it's all the things that was going on. The mystery woman played by Carrie Fisher.
Yeah,
like that's off the rails, ridiculous. All the explosions that demolish buildings and they like
are somehow
fine.
Come out.
Yeah, dust themselves off, dust their suits off, and pick themselves up after there's been a literal rocket launch or there's been an explosion under a phone booth or something.
Yeah.
So there's that crazy weird character of Carrie Fisher trying to kill Jake over and over again. And then the ridiculousness of the chase scenes, and then the ridiculousness of all the band members who are like super wonderful, real musicians. When you look them up, they're all session players and real band people who played all these different things. But then there's the music.
Yeah.
I think I could just gush about the music, but let me pause because you actually played the music.
I did, so I'm an expert because I played a...
Right. Well, that got you hooked into watching the movie.
Yeah. Well, I played just little bits of parts of it in not even my jazz band, in just the concert band, which was fun.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I love all of that music. I actually listened to that whole album a lot when I was first driving by myself for the first time. Like after I got my license and I was just driving by myself in a car for the first time. That's what I listened to a lot of the time. Was that album from the Blues Brothers movie, which was very fun. Cause it's just it's good music to just kind of bop to, which is good.
Yeah, it's good car music. That's a great. That's like one of the highest pieces of praise you could give an album, is that's your newly minted fresh driver's license, turn it up in the car kind of music.
Well, because they set such a good example for driving that.
Right. Right. Flooring it in the blues mobile
Yeah.
to go over the drawbridge. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good example in so many ways.
Yeah.
And then there's all the guest musicians,
Yeah.
all the cameos.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite scene or musical number or a combination of those? Because while you're thinking of it,
Okay.
in case someone has yet to see Blues Brothers, the classic piece of cinematography that is the movie we're reviewing, the plot line, more or less, is an excuse to like intersect with all these different really famous rhythm and blues soul artists. And
Yeah.
so they visit Ray's, which is
Mm-hmm.
a music store run by Ray Charles, and then they get one of their band members who happens to be married to Aretha Franklin,
Yeah.
and they are outside of that neighborhood is where John Lee Hooker is playing out in the street.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this whole revelation in front of or during their church service that happens to be run by James Brown.
Yeah.
And the guy who's in the orphanage, who was their kind of caretaker, godfather kind of person, was Cab Calloway, who was a famous band director, and then their own band is. I'm sure I'm forgetting other people too. But just all these great excuses to have all these great cameos.
Yeah.
So, did you do any of those stick out, or does that resonate with you?
I think one of my all-time favorite of those ones is the Aretha Franklin one.
Yeah.
Because she's just awesome, and her character in that is she's just a fun character, and then like she was only there for that one scene, but then she's like, yeah, she's just singing about how she's like, this guy is stupid for leaving her, and then like the Blues Brothers like join in with her, and like everybody's kind of agreeing, and then he's like, no, I gotta go play with the Blues Brothers, and he
Yeah. And they just walk out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a great performance. She's just like, she's got this firm attitude and no nonsense, and she's just belting it out as Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, just in a diner.
Right, as if Aretha Franklin is just working the short order, the working the counter there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the Ray Charles scene.
Yeah.
Very, very much. Where he pulls out a gun and shoots the kid who's robbing, which is so fantastic since Ray Charles is in fact blind and is firing a pistol at a kid in the music store to keep him from stealing a guitar off the wall or something off the wall.
I think it's a guitar. Or
yeah.
Something, I don't know.
And then they lead into that scene with the keyboard player from the band saying, "Hey Ray, this keyboard's got no action." And Ray's like, it's got action. He starts playing this, jumps into this giant musical number with people dancing out in the street.
Yeah.
The other scene I really, really like, and it makes me actually wish I could play behind chicken wire sometime when I'm on stage, is when they play at the country bar.
Yeah.
The Rawhide, yeah. Where they play both country and both kinds of music, country and Western.
Yeah. And they start off playing their blues songs, and everybody's booing them, and then they sing the song from a TV show or something.
Yeah, the Rawhide.
Yeah, the Rawhide. So.
And then they play Stand By Your Man, and everyone's all sentimental about
it.
Yeah. But still, the whole way through, even when they're happy, they're still throwing their beer bottles at the chicken wire on the stage.
Yeah.
That's just wonderful. Is there a favorite line or favorite moment that you've got in the movie?
I don't know. They're all so quintessential. I do remember when we had our concert when we played the music. For some reason, the music, like my conductor's score, wasn't there, and nobody could
remember this.
Yeah, and nobody could find it anywhere. And so he was just like, okay, I'm just going to conduct it from memory. And I was sitting right in the front row, right next to him. And I said, it's okay, we're on a mission from God. And he laughed. And then we started doing it, and we got through it no problem. So it was all good. And so that was a fun moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice job using your movie.
I did my homework.
Movie line. Yeah. Well done. I'm so proud. I was so proud when I heard about that. That's my boy.
Do you have a favorite line?
I think we're on a mission from God, because they keep saying it in this really, just straight. Like, they always deliver that line straight. Dan Aykroyd is like, "We're on a mission from God."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, I don't care,"
because they're saying it to like cops and like Aretha Franklin and stuff, and so they're like, "I don't care."
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole line, like, "We're getting the band back together again."
Yeah.
I think that's like, you want to just be able to use that line over and over again. Both of those lines.
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing this dumb thing? Well, we're on a mission from God, getting the band back together again.
Yeah.
Like, how can you argue with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing, the reason we decided to review this movie, or at least why I was reminded of the movie, is because you sent me a picture a few weeks ago.
Yeah. I was in just like a building that has my creative writing professor's office is in this one building that's a little bit separate. And we were helping her bring some stuff after class back to her office. And there were these stairs that, like, right when you walk in, they're like these steep stairs with like green carpet, and they like go right up, and then there's like a doorway right at the top of that. And I took a picture of it and sent it to you because it looks like the stairway that's at the beginning of that movie, or fairly early on in that movie, when they go and visit their orphanage and visit a nun at the top.
The penguin.
The penguin. Right at the top of some stairs like that. And yeah.
And you sent it to me without any explanation, and it was immediately clear that that's exactly what that looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that picture will go on the podcast episode for sure.
Yeah.
But so as soon as you sent it to me, I pictured you like toppling down backwards with the nun screaming at you, or the crucifix leaning over the top. So it's doubly hilarious to figure out it's just where your professor's office is.
Yeah.
So when you go up there, you have to sit in the little desks and get your hands slapped by the ruler.
I've never been. Her office is on the first floor, so I've never been up there. But maybe if I go up there, there's the penguins up there or something. So
yeah,
I need to go check it out. Yeah.
Yep, that's your homework.
Okay.
Okay, report back.
Yeah.
All right. Any other final words about the Blues Brothers?
Nope. It's good. It's long. Good. It has good music.
Yeah. Goes by fast.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. So, yes, thumbs up. Good movie. Go watch The Blues Brothers, and it will never get old, and it will give you lessons to live by.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Question of the week.
Okay.
Want me to go first?
Sure.
All right. Question for you this week. Who is your best role model for what our best future could look like? I was thinking, I was curious, who do you look towards when you think about the future and you think, oh, that's who we need to emulate or who moves me forward?
Probably, especially with environment stuff and working with environment and collaborating with people and stuff like that. I said Jane Goodall.
Yeah.
And because she just seems like a very lovely lady she's just getting stuff done and is working with other people and is very collaborative and knowledgeable and effective. And she's always been cool, and I like her.
Well, and you've long liked her because of her work with the chimpanzees and understanding them as a culture and having this lifelong commitment. And then as an environmental activist. But I gather when you talk about her, it seems like there's more to her than just being oh, she wants to do right by the environment or she wants to save chimpanzees.
Yeah. Is that a question or
Well, yeah, I just thought you would expand on that.
Okay. Yes. Good point. She does do more than that. She does a lot of she's very outspoken and uses her people know of her and her notoriety and stuff, and so people look to her, and she uses that influence very well and says okay, I have this influence, I can speak on a lot of on behalf of a lot of committees and help get legislations passed and travel around the world and help collaborate with other people on this. And so she is just using a lot of her influence for good and to continue working on stuff instead of just instead of just stopping when she's now 87 or something. So
yeah, she deserves to rest, but she doesn't.
Yeah.
She also always strikes me as hopeful.
Yeah.
It's easy to if you're if as a realist, you'd think, oh, I'm losing more and more hope, and she always kind of turns that around and says, no, you can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, she's always provides solutions, and even if it's just hey, we need to educate people, then she's still giving that and still providing tangible ways to educate people. And I think she's pretty receptive to feedback she gets and stuff, and so she works a lot with youth and kids and stuff, and does a lot of outreach with that, and has a lot of programs for young environmental activists and stuff, and to help them continue, because it's not just a one person thing, and I think that she's doing a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's remarkable. She doesn't, like you say, she doesn't just rest on her laurels. She's not resting, but she's also preparing others to do the work.
Yeah.
of a next generation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just
She also, I was just flashing back, like last week we reviewed Mary Oliver.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, I think of Mary Oliver and Jane Goodall as like these just wonderful, thoughtful, encouraging, open people.
Yeah. Yeah. They have similar energy.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's a good role model.
Yeah.
Any other plugs for Jane Goodall?
Go check her out. She's a
yeah.
good up-and-comer.
Yeah. It seems to be all of our reviews, all the people we admire are like, oh yeah, they're 142 years old. It's too bad she wasn't in Blues Brothers. She would have been a good cameo.
I don't know how they would have fit her in.
It would be tough. But that I just remembered, because it's not too much more weird. Did you know that Frank Oz was in Blues Brothers?
He was?
Yeah. So when Jake is getting checked out of the prison, and there's the guy who's giving him his property back.
Yeah.
And listing out all of his items. And that's Frank Oz.
That's Frank Oz? What?
Yeah. Yes.
I've never seen him as a human. Or I guess I have, but...
You have, and you didn't realize it.
I didn't know it, because he's not
Fozzie
or Yoda or someone else.
Right. He was just him in a police uniform in the cage of property control.
That scene makes that remind that, like, you know how in that first scene where it's apparently Frank Oz, there's that line that Jake has to stand behind? Yes. And then he has to lean forward to sign this stuff. That reminded me of COVID stuff. Because they're like, you have to stay here, but also you have to... It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a movie for all time.
Yeah, it doesn't seem as ridiculous anymore, because...
No. No, totally reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we've linked John Belushi, Frank Oz, and Jane Goodall all together in conversation here.
Oh, that's why this is episode 6, because of Frank Oz.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's the Yoda episode.
Yeah.
Making all kinds of connections.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want a question?
We've lost 1,000% of our audience. Yeah, you should ask your question.
Okay. What is your favorite game?
It's or a games? Simple question.
Yeah.
I bet I could think of something more interesting just based on like the game, because it's somehow part of me, or the gameplay is really interesting. But I was just teaching in my class, I was teaching students how to play cribbage.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I was doing it was because I assigned each of them to have to teach us something that they knew how to do really well. And I used cribbage as my example of something I could teach them, because it's a goofy game and it's really bizarre. So I was thinking of ways to, model my teaching in this game. And I introduced it, and as I was introducing it, it made me realize how I love that game because of all the different places in which I've played it and how I learned it. So my dad played cribbage in college, but I didn't ever play with him when I was growing up. I saw him play once in a while, but I learned in college, and that was just one of these things that we did as a study break.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd play cribbage because it's a weird game, but you can talk while you're playing it and you feel like you're doing something, but it's mostly luck. But you do all these weird things that look like something really sophisticated, but you're really just adding up numbers. And anyway, I love like the goofiness of it, how it looks, but most of all, I love all the different. I can think back to all the different people I've played cribbage with, because it's, it's something I played in college. It's something I played in pubs with friends when I was in college, and then like on backpacking trips. Mom's Uncle Mark, my backpacking mentor, like kind of relearned to play cribbage there. And then I went back and played cribbage with my dad. So every time Poppy is visiting, we play cribbage. And then I've since played with Anna and with Mom. And then when we went out to visit your school before you were there, you and I taught you how to play cribbage. So I have all these personal connections with people playing cribbage, and it's not like a deep game, but I just really like it for those reasons, that I reconnect with people playing cribbage.
It's a good game. We were just at the like the hotel and like restaurant where I was learning where you taught me cribbage, and I was telling my roommate about it, and like how like we just sat there like for like, I don't know, a while, for like every day, and like after I was doing like looking at classes and like doing some scholarship stuff, like we were in there and we just played cribbage, and there were like a bunch of other guys like just drinking beer, and we were in the corner playing cribbage. And that was really fun. I don't remember how to play it anymore, but
you would pick it up. Because it's kind of has a muscle memory to it. You lay down cards and you say 15-2 and go, and run for 3, and like there's kind of a language to it. There's kind of a pace to it that feels familiar once you've played it a few times. And it's different playing it with someone else versus playing it like on your phone. Like you can play computers, you can even play another person online, but I think the physical, like shuffling, there's a cut that's important, and that laying of cards in front of each other and kind of having this mixing of cards, that's an important part of the game. I mean, I would still play it online, like I'm not against that, but it's a game you play with a couple of people at a table, or in the backcountry on a food canister when you're backpacking, or in a corner of a pub hanging out with your kid after a long day. So I love that game. All right, let's check the mailbag.
Okay,
done with that. No more mail. Finished.
that was good.
It was another good mail day. Any last words for the podcast?
Where can people send us mail, Dad?
Well, if they go to the website, mouthsounds.org, there is a contact page, and there's a form as well as our email address.
There you go.
That's an excellent question.
Now we might have mail.
Don't just stream us on the Spotify's or the Apple tunes. You can also, or the Stitchers, you can go to our website, mouthsounds.org. That's mouthsounds.org, and hit contact or something. It's obvious. Like, if you're living in the 21st century, you should be able to figure this out. So drop us a line. We'll be happy to answer your questions.
Send us questions or review suggestions, or
that's a great idea.
Or your favorite kind of Pringles. Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Yep.
We'd be happy to hear from the listeners. Most of them. All right. It's been good talking to you, Reed.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you too, Dad.
Okay. Thanks for listening,
Thanks.
Mom.
Hi,
Or
Mom.
whoever else is listening. Yeah. Okay, Reed. Keep your feelings inside.
Thanks, you too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.